I think the issue about breaking artists these days is not so much breaking them in the first sense, because you can actually use a brute force approach where with a big enough marketing budget, you can break any really sufficiently talented artist. But the record companies are really shy about putting that kind of investment or bet on individual artists these days. The reason being, it's super hard to establish an artist, not just break them, but establish them, because you haven't got the album format, for instance, through which to market them and to generate big revenues. You don't have the singles chart that works in the same way that it used to, and you haven't got this limited supply of music, which made it so much easier in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. The entire way in which we consume music kind of militates against the ability to really grow and act from an acorn into a tree. I think that is what's making it so difficult to break artists, because the barriers to entry into the world now, if you're a musician, are very, very low. What's hard is to get you to stand out and to stay stood out when there's so much choice out there. I mean, if you look at Radio 6 Music's really interesting, actually. If you look at their playlist, since that station started, and I'm an indie fan, I come from Manchester, so obviously, you look at that station, they most of 80% of their output is records which are no more than 3 months old. Okay, so they're playing new music nearly all the time, interlaced with classics, great classics, and the classics are like 30, 40 years old. But the new stuff is brand new, and once it's not new, where does it go? It's gone. They're not playing those records again until they're much, much older. So that kind of is an interesting sort of parallel with what's going on music streaming generally, where it's easy to put a record out there, but it's hard to break through, and it's even harder to stay big.